Hello. What's up, everyone? I hope you're all doing well and had a fantastic weekend as usual. Had a pretty chill one on my part. Chilling in the short trade taken on Friday. Nothing special apart from that. But as usual, if we have anyone in the live chat, could you let me know? Hello, Jean Pierre. It's nice to see you as usual. I hope you're very well, my friend, and had a good weekend. What else can I say? and had a fantastic trading week as usual. I guess this is why we are all here today. Everything is good. Okay, thank you for the confirmation. I won't waste any more time today. Let's dive into everything. As usual, I will start with the announcements, which just take a couple of seconds. Then we'll do the weekly recap, so what happened this week to understand where price is at today. And finally, with all the context in mind, we will dive into ideally what you want to look for next. So for the announcements, you guys all know if you want to trade with a 30% fee discount on Bitfinex, you can go ahead and sign up with the link that is available in the description of the live stream. And of course, if you want access to my imbalance indicator, which always has helped me or helps me give you very accurate levels, just like this one, it will also be available in the description of the live stream. Now, for the recap, I will start by admitting I didn't have the best start to the week, but I had a pretty good ending. It's not common for me to take two losses in 1 week. And as a matter of fact, I don't even remember the last time this happened. That was a couple of months ago, probably. But when we started the week, if you remember last Sunday, that was my plan. So I still have it on my chart. This was my plan. I want to see you move up into Monday to then see a reversal to the downside. Now, technically, this did play out because we got the move up into Monday. We topped out on Monday, and then we got the reversal to the downside. But of course, my level was not right. So going over to the Discord, I can now remove this. Going over to the Discord, what I personally did, Monday when I woke up, that was my resistance around 92.4. But at this point, of course, we didn't have any reaction. So no trades to take. On top of that, it was a Monday morning, and you guys know I don't like Monday morning trades. I don't think they're the best. So for the rest of the day, I just wanted to wait for a 30-minute imbalance to look for short position for that move back down into $88,700, which was my only support for the week. So I waited for the move up, we got the move up, we got the imbalance on the 30 minutes chart. I took my short position. We did end up getting a pretty good reaction. I was in the short position, and then on the New York Open, we got a pretty strong recovery to the upside, and I did get stopped out of my position. Now, the next day, okay, personally, I was still waiting, of course, for $96,000, but we had a 12-hour imbalance on the breakout, as you can see right there. This was only the second imbalance that we had seen during this entire uptrend. That was the first one, that was the second one. So of course this was very significant, and that's why I wanted to look for short positions up there. But then the next day, we had seen the SFP still of the highs, but also of our level at $93,800. If I go over to the charts to show you better, on the 12-hour, this was our level that we literally shared. I think that would be now a month ago. We shared this level, 93.8, a month ago, if not even more. It got rejected once, twice, and now 3 times with a big rejection to the downside with the 12-hour imbalance. And that's where I am kind of disappointed in myself this week, because after I saw this rejection, I decided to look for a long position. Which in hindsight, I already talked about this on YouTube, but it was a very stupid decision. But in any case, we got the job, we got the imbalance. As usual, that's what I look for. And even though it turned into a stupid loss, it's still a small loss in the grand scheme of things. You keep the losses small and you keep the winners big. The last winner was a while ago because for 3 weeks, price was just hovering above my support. So you keep the winners big, okay? And now, to end the week, I shared one level on Friday. So let me find it. That was what I was looking for. Okay, I wanted to see a drop into 88.7. We had an imbalance at the lows, as you can see right there. I was looking for my long position. So watch level. But then we got the front run of my level. This early imbalance got a pretty bullish close and a continuation to the upside. So at this point, I outlined one new plan, which was this one, a rise into 91.8 to then see a reversal to the downside and hit my support at 88.7. And guess what happened? Even though on Friday I was not home, we got the move into 91.8. I will show you on the charts, but we got the move into 91.8. I took my short position, as you can see right there. And yes, I am still in this short, still have not implemented any take profit one. And ideally, I would like to take it down towards at least $88,700. Now, if I go on the lower time frames, you will see how accurate this level was. We got a massive pump right into my level. Let's even go on the 30 minutes chart. A massive pump right into my level and a very big rejection to the downside. So beautiful level, beautiful short. I made back all the losses that I made this week and even more. And that's why when you take losses, you can either do two things. You can do the first thing, which is what I always used to do as a bad trader, which is over trading. You get angry, you take 10 different positions just because you're angry and you want to make your money back, but you end up losing much more money. Or what you can do is just stay patient, outline the next plan, which is what I did right there. This is my next level. And you can see on my chart, I didn't take any other trade. This is a short, I stayed patient, took it. And of course, this offered a very good rejection to the downside of until now. Now price is a bit higher, but still to the low, we got a drop of 2% in a couple of hours. So very good short. Once again, I have not implemented the take profit one. My stop loss is at entry. So if it comes back up, I will not lose any money. So it's a risk-free trade. And ideally, I would still like to look for lower prices. Hello, Nicholas. It's nice to see you. So with that said, that was it for the recap. Once again, 2 losing trades. The first one was decent. The second one was a stupid decision. And the third one, of course, a very nice short position that personally I am still holding. Now, what I would like to see next should be pretty obvious. I mean, I'm guessing to most of you. We're getting a weekend pump. We have a 4-hour imbalance on Bybit. On Binance, we have 2 4-hour imbalances. And on top of that, we have the CME gap. Let's see where it is. The CME gap is still below at, so that would be exactly it. So the CME gap is at $90,400 exactly. So we have the imbalances on the rise, even on the 30 minutes, you have an imbalance. On the 1 hour, we have even more imbalances. And on the 4 hour, we have more imbalances. Below us, we have a CME gap. And in my opinion, we don't have any significant support until $88,700. So that's why this week, what I would like to look for ideally, again, very simple. It would just be a drop into Monday. Okay. Now, ideally, it will be a late Monday low. Once again, I don't like early Monday trading. So ideally, we drop. Let's try to add the time. Right there. I would say probably around at least. Probably there would be good already. I don't know. We'll have to see tomorrow. But ideally, if we can drop into this level after the New York Open, ideally, not right after, so a bit later in the day, then we can look for our long positions for a reversal to the upside. That would be my main scenario for this week, except if I find something else right now. So again, we do the group and we call it Sunday plan. Now, a couple of things to outline, of course. Now, if we pump first, my main issue, which is why I haven't taken any profits on my short, my main issue is that I don't have any big resistance above that level, which is why I don't think we're ready to break above it yet. Because do we go just straight back up? I don't know. That doesn't really make sense just because this low hasn't been put in on a big support, at least for my analysis. Still have the daily imbalance down there. We have the scam wick on Coinbase. Remember, guys, we have the scam wick on Coinbase. Right there. This is your scam wick. If I show you the level, again, 88.7. So for these reasons, will you really front on the daily imbalance and the scam wick? Let's go on the daily chart, right? We have a daily imbalance down there. So do we front shot them before breaking up again? Personally, I don't believe so. So that's why this is what I'm looking for. Now, if we drop and we lose this level, this is where I'm gonna hold on to my short position and probably expect much lower prices. So that would be if we lose my level. My first target will be these lows. Okay, first break. So let's call them first target. Let's just call it like this. And that would be, that's stupid. Okay, so that would be the bearish plan, right? That would be losing support, and that's what I want to call the bearish plan, I guess. That's what we could call it. Let's just call if lose 88.7k. Okay, I'm not expecting this to happen. Just to be clear, personally, I would really like to see a move higher in the charts. I've already talked about it before on YouTube. I would like to see a bounce, a move back up, and a break back above $94,000. But we have to be ready for the break in case we don't hold 88.7. I will be aiming for these lows to get taken out. And of course, if this happens, then we can do another YouTube update and just outline a new plan. Okay. And of course, if we bump straight from here, then I'm going to get stopped out of my short at entry, and it would just be unfortunate. But I have my doubts about seeing a Monday pump tomorrow. I would really like to see a Monday dump, form a low, send it back up above $94,000, and that's where, of course, we talk about how our higher time frame plan, which you guys all know. I am looking for something like this to play out, and then come back down below $74,000. So I think that would be ideal. That would really be ideal. Because if we move up, that would bring us towards the end of this month. And this is where you guys know I am looking for that high towards the end of this month, or the start of next month. That would be ideal to look for a high. Doesn't matter, it could be 96, it could be 99, it could even be 102, even though I have big dots about 102, but it could be either of these levels. But until then, I'm gonna keep on focusing on the lower time frame levels and take it as usual level to level. What I missed, just join maybe imbalance and down. Well, we already have an imbalance. Let's go on the 4-hour. You already have your imbalance on Bybit and even on Binance. Can you load? Or can you not load? What's happening? Frick. Okay. So there it is on Binance. You have two 4-hour imbalances. If I can zoom in, they're a bit small, but you can see the two blue candles right there. Even on the 1-hour, let's look at Binance. Right, we have one. Well, this one's not too important, but we have this imbalance above that has been recovered. Now we did see a bounce, but now we are coming back down. Same exact thing on Bybit. Two are the imbalances. We are in the process of seeing a reversal to the downside. So then we can move on to Ethereum. My bias on Ethereum hasn't changed, right? I would like to see the support down there tapped around $3,010, $3,020. That would be my ideal plan on Ethereum. You can move it to today. Let's fix the daily open. That would remain my plan. I don't think the lows on Ethereum are in, especially when you take into consideration that we have a partially filled 12-hour down there, which is as well a 4-hour imbalance. So the lows on Ethereum also probably are not in. So ideally, look for that reversal to the downside into 3,000 and then reverse higher. Now, it is also possible that I don't like giving multiple levels because I love making the charts as simple as possible. But just be aware of that level in case we just take out these lows and then reverse higher. My main thought process on this is that if Bitcoin drops to 88.7, will that send Ethereum to 3,000? Because this drop does seem kind of big. 3%. 2%. Actually, I think that's still doable. I really like this level below. So that would be a first level to keep in mind if you guys want to trade it. So technically you can just take that low and wait for a liquidity sweep. But I much prefer that level. Okay, just beware of that first one. Okay, I'm gonna remove it because I don't trade Ethereum and I like to keep my chart as clean as possible. That would be my big level on Ethereum. Forgot if we had any volume profiles. Point of control is below. Still below. Yeah, we don't have any volume profile confluence. Not a big problem. We do have a point of control up there, however. Okay, that's good to see. That is good to see. So, how do you get better at combining market context with timing? Well, it's just about studying times, you know. Do we want to go through this? I mean, we can do it very quickly. Look, guys, you just have to study every single day of the week. I know it seems excessive, but if you want to be a trader, that's what you have to do. Unfortunately, I mean, not unfortunately, it's just like anything else in life, you have to put time into it. But what you can very simply do is go back in time. And what you will see, we can start look at when the low was put in. It was on a Monday. Monday is a very pivotal, a very pivotal pivotal day in the week, bro. Why can't I talk? A very pivotal day in the week, bro. I can't even find what I'm freaking searching for. Cyclic lines. Where is it? Oh man, forgive me, guys. Where are the cyclic lines? Am I stupid? Well, I know I'm stupid. Okay, so you take Monday, and you take the next Monday. So this is how you study every single day of the week. You take the cyclic lines, you take Monday to Monday, and you try to see pretty much what happens every Monday. Look what happens when you are in an uptrend. Monday low, Monday low. Okay, now that was not a Monday low, but you can see this is that was much more impulsive. But Monday low, low just before Monday, but Monday continued to the upside. That was in an uptrend. And then what you can do is start to analyze downtrends. Okay, and see Monday a bit of a high. That was not the best one, but again, Monday low, Monday high. That was Sunday. What the frick is happening? I didn't put it right. My bad, guys. So I mean, you get the point. I'm not gonna waste time on it. If you guys want me to waste time, we can dive into it, but I would have to fix it. So that was at daily open. That is also the daily open. I'm confused. Oh, that's not the daily open. That's why. This is the daily open. Yeah, and this gets fixed. So pretty much you do this and you analyze every single Monday what happens in uptrends versus what happens in downtrends. You can see Monday high. That was a Monday high. You can see right there. It was not put in right on the line, but we put in a Monday high, another Monday high. That was okay, that was Monday low followed by a Tuesday low, so that was very close. A Tuesday low, that was a Monday low. I mean, you can just go back in time and analyze every single day of the week, and you will see that Mondays are very pivotal. What happened on both of these highs? Monday high, Monday high, Monday high before the big reversal, Monday high reversal, Monday high reversal, Monday high reversal. That was a bit of a Monday low reversal to the upside. Monday low reversal to the upside. So again, I'm not gonna waste too much time on it because this is like, it's a very important thing to do and you have to take your time. But basically what I do is I just combine time with my levels and I just try to understand how much time do you potentially need before finding a reversal to the downside. Does it make sense to expect an early monthly high and then a big reversal? This is not something that you can just come up with like by using common sense or something. You just have to test price action and just look, you know, did this range take long enough in your opinion? If you believe so, then okay. Personally, I don't believe it has, so I'm expecting higher prices. I hope I haven't yapped too much, but timing in the markets is very important. It's probably it is the most important thing ever, right? Timing. When you combine it with the right levels, as remember we did down there, it can really give you extremely strong setups. Even this high, it was put in on Monday. Okay, Monday high, Monday low, Monday high, Monday low. So if you have any more questions about timing, just send them in the live chat. But I don't want to waste too much time on it. I told you what you have to do. Just use the cyclic lines, mark out every single day of the week, and try to see what happens. Like if you have a pattern on every single one of them, you can look at the weekends, for example. I'm gonna be done here after this. You can look most weekends. I believe it's over 70% of the weekends we see pumps to the upside. Even this weekend, you can see we got the open on Saturday here. Not a big pump because the context is a bit different this time since I'm expecting lower prices, but still we got a bit of a pump to the upside. Most weekends offer pumps and not dumps. That's because on Fridays usually you get big dumps to end the week, and that's why I was pretty confident in this short position, because you pump into Friday, you tend to dump into the you tend to dump into the Friday closes. So I took the short, you dump into the close, and you go back up over the weekend. That's pretty standard. How do you get better? Okay, what about the New Year CME gap? The New Year CME gap? What are you talking about? New Year CME gap. Oh, that's what you're talking about. I mean, personally, I don't really focus on non-weekend gaps. I don't give them too much attention. And looking at this gap, I think that could play into the favor of my long position at 88.7, because I'm guessing that if we drop into this level, one, everyone will be looking at this low and possibly opening short positions to catch a breakout. You know, you have breakout traders. They see a move into a low, they will open shorts to catch the breakout below this low, and that's how you get a short squeeze to the upside, and vice versa with long positions. So when you have this very obvious low, you have the CME gap below, which is not a weekend gap. I think this could give us a very good setup to chop a lot of shorts at the lows and then see a reversal to the upside. So that's how I would play into this gap. If it was a weekend gap, probably I would have had a different view on it, but since it's not a weekend gap, I don't really care about it. I have to be honest. And anyway, over the longer term, you guys know I'm bearish. So even if we get this bounce at 88.7, I do believe that this gap will get filled in the future, because my plan is drop, bounce, but ultimately come back down. And in the process of coming back down, fill that gap of the new year. Okay, so anyways, that gap will get filled in my opinion. It's just a matter of when. Just a matter of when. But my main target right now is definitely the daily imbalance down there, which will get filled when you combine this with the scam wick on Coinbase. Did some deep analysis on BTC bear market bottoms yesterday and came to the conclusion of 40 to 44. Okay, any thoughts? 40 to 44. We can look at this. 40 to 44. I think that's a bit too low in my opinion. 40 to 44. 65%. I think that's doable actually. I think that's doable. Do we fill that? That would be crazy if we fill the monthly imbalance and then go back up. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but to me, it just right now it doesn't hold any weight. Why? Because it's just not gonna affect my trading right now, you know. So if I'm looking for a long at 88.7, why do I care about $44,000? If you're talking about investing, I think investing anything below $60,000 will be a very good price on Bitcoin, because at this point you'll have a 2x or 100% return on your investment. So if you buy at $60,000 to the upside, that's over 100%. That's 55. If you take 60K, that's still over 100%. And I mean, it is pretty much a given that when and if Bitcoin continues down, it will make a new all-time high, because this is just an asset that has proven to be included in the financial system, if you wish. You have even BlackRock buying Bitcoin. So logically, it will go back to a new all-time high. So anything around and below $60,000 is a good spot is a good spot to start buying Bitcoin for investing, not trading. For trading, once again, I don't really care about $44,000 because it's not gonna make any difference in my trading. I go on the lower time frames, I look at my levels, and I take trades. I can long $84,000 as we did before. I can short $91,800. Thinking about 44 right now just doesn't make, to me, it doesn't make any difference. Once again, if you are an investor, you probably just look to buy anything below $60,000. That's kind of my thought process. Never stop yapping. Thank you. Thank you. I always appreciate that. So we can look at ZEC. We can look at Solana first because, of course, it's the next Bitcoin after Ethereum. So we are getting a move up on Solana. We are. I would still like to see 155 on Solana before continuing to the downside. So I think for this higher time frame plan, nothing has changed. We are getting that move up, hopefully, into 155 before continuing to the downside. So no big updates on Solana. I don't want to dive into the lower time frame levels because I remember last week we searched for it and we found this one, but it wasn't the easiest levels to find for the supports. At least for the resistance, to me it is pretty obvious, it's up there, 155. For the supports, this one still looks pretty interesting, actually, just below 100, and so around $128. That would remain my support. Plus you have 2 4-hour imbalance on this bounce with a liquidity grab above this high. So just be cautious on retracements, especially if we see Bitcoin drop into 88.7. So Solana, that would be it. Okay, just if we can drop into this to continue into 155 to then look for that big short position for reversal lower. We can look at ZEC, of course. I don't think it's on my watch list. Actually, we did analyze one coin last week that I liked the setup. Was it near? I just want to see if it played out. Did it play out? Okay, it didn't play out. But it is coming back down into that level. I remember this one because I really like this setup. Was it this one? I think it was. I'm gonna keep it for this week. I just think this is a good setup. But now let's look at ZEC. ZEC. USDT. Binance. Pretty big drop. Any conference on the imbalances? We can definitely look at the imbalances. On the daily, nothing. On the 12-hour, well, you had, nah, it's not a confluence. 4-hour, I think that would have been it. You have a partially filled 4-hour imbalance. If I zoom in, you can see. Let me remove this. So you can see you had a partially filled 4-hour imbalance. So you can take a big area because you have an order block just above. You take this order block. If you want to be safer, you extend it down to the imbalance. So that would have been a pretty large, I mean, not large, it's 521 to 529, so just $8. But if you wanted, you can just take the order block. So you have a partially filled 4-hour, an order block, and guess what? You moved into it with a 4-hour imbalance. As you can see, this was the only imbalance in this entire range to the upside. You had this one, but that one was more after a drop. And see, in this entire range, you move up, you have one 4-hour imbalance awake, and then you got the reversal lower. So that would have been a nice short position if you were trading imbalances. Regarding today, so we did an, oh, I remember this one. Now I remember this one. Okay. Let's see. Daily. What about that? No. 3-day, no. 12-hour, yes. Let's look at the volume profile. Oof, value area high, that's very nice. That is very nice, but we are below the point of control, so that's not great. That's not great. What about this? Do we have a level? Let me see. Daily. For hour. That would be a nice support with the order block and the imbalance. Hmm. That would be a bit too close to these lows though. Hmm. Uh, hmm. Not the easiest one. Let me go back on the daily. I don't mind the support. But if we had a second daily imbalance, that would have been so nice. But we don't have, not even on the 12 hour. We're gonna need more volume on the 12 hour if we want to bottom out. 4 hour, we just have one imbalance, but after such a big job, you're gonna need bigger trap. You're gonna need a 12-hour imbalance at least. So ideally on this coin, what you want to look for, that seems improbable, 35%. I don't like this partial fill. That's my main view right now. I don't like it's above the midpoint, but it's not a full fill. If it was the midpoint, would it be? 445, let me see. It's not bad actually. It's pretty much around the midpoint. Yeah. I don't know. I would say probably for this coin, you want to look for. I mean, the best setup would be this. Thing is that I don't know if it plays out because it looks a bit improbable, as I said. That would be it. Alright? And then you continue lower. Because going back on the daily, okay, you have this one, but on the 4 hour, I saw something that I didn't like. You have 3 4 hour imbalances and you only filled the second to last. So you filled this one to the dollar and then you got the reversal, but I don't like that this one is unfilled. So that would be a target for the drop, definitely 284, 287. Yeah, 287, and that would be your first target on that drop. So something like this, ideally you put in a bit of a range before continuing lower. And that would be your final target. I'm not final target because that looks pretty bad right now. And we did give a short actually on this one, but then it got broken. We did give a short on this one, which played out pretty well. 37%, wow. 37. Yeah, that would be the best setup that I can find. Do you want to long this coin after such an ugly price action and a big drop? If you have a 12-hour imbalance, you could give it a shot, but I would definitely keep the risk low. It just doesn't look great. You've lost both of these imbalances. It's not looking great. You're below the point of control, if I remember. You're below the point of control, yes. Even on the lower time frame, it's offering resistance. But you have the value area low with a previous point of control on that level. So actually, that would be a very good level to look for a long. Risky long, just because it's looking weak, but I think that would be your best shot for a long position. Anything below that, I think this coin is done for. Could be wrong, of course, could be wrong, but that would be my read on it. So the support, if you're interested, will be around 345. That would be your support, around 345. Resistance, I mean, it's the level for 469. And the final target, 287. That doesn't look bad. That definitely doesn't look bad. Yeah, I think that's a fine long position the more I look at it. I don't think it's a bad one if you have a reaction. You guys know I don't like limit orders. So wait for the drop, wait for the imbalances on the 12-hour ideally, even of course on the daily would be even better, but I don't know if you get one on the daily. 12-hour is going to be needed in my opinion. After such a big drop, you want a big trap. And yeah, if you get that reaction, you look for the reversal up. I like it. I don't mind this one. Looks like a possible short here on Sol. On. You could just. You don't want to short just because you have imbalances. You always need a level. Now, you did take out that liquidity, but Okay, it's a fine short. Not a bad one. Bitcoin, still rejecting. Okay, so I think, can you look at gold and silver? Yes, I don't think I'm gonna have anything interesting to say because, well, my view hasn't changed. Yeah, this is the last wave on gold. I mean, it's literally recovering every single job. I'm surprised that this was not the start of wave 4. I would have expected maybe the fill of this imbalance and then down. I mean, ideally gold, we got one more pullback and then continue higher. But I don't know if that happens. It's just so freaking bullish. Every single drop, massive drop, and then just straight up. Massive drop, and then just straight up. Ideally, you break that trend, you form one more low, and then you continue higher. Because that would fit with the wave 4 idea on silver, which is this one. I like this one. 1, 2, 3. You drop in a wave 4, and then you continue up in a wave 5. Just because, I mean, this is so... I could be wrong, of course, but this is so clear that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And before topping out for the all-time high, before a freaking 50-year bear market, you're probably gonna put a wave 4. Just makes sense. And even look at gold. I think last cycle we did have a pretty nice wave 4. Right there. I think that was your wave 4. Gonna be a hard count, but I remember looking at it. Possibly 1, 2, something like this. But it doesn't make sense like this. I'll have to dive deeper into it. But you can see you have a nice correction that took a bit of time before continuing higher. That's on the 3-day chart, remember. That's a 3-day chart. So this range took how long? 250 days. So almost a year. 2/3 of a year. 250 days in a correction before continuing higher. Right now we haven't had this yet. It's just up, up, and we don't have any significant correction. We have this one, but 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're gonna have to break this down. Man, this will be a really Elliott wave. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, something like this. But yeah, I'm gonna have to dive deep into it, and I just don't think it's worth it, I'll be honest. What I would do even for gold is just keep an eye on silver, and when you form that wave 4 and then wave 5, this is when you probably look to sell both silver and gold, because logically they will top out somewhere around the same time frame. This is what happened before. This is what should happen again. I mean, they're precious metals. Silver is a bit different, of course, but that's logically what you should be looking for on silver and gold, especially that the dollar is continuing on consolidating above support. We have a good low on support, and the dollar will make its move up at some point. And plus, final factor, combining this with Bitcoin, I have said it before, this is my view. In my opinion, we drop on Bitcoin while we go up on gold, and when Bitcoin bottoms, this is when gold and silver will top out. Okay, you bottom on Bitcoin, and you top out on gold. To me, this makes so much sense, so much sense. So I guess you could say this: as long as Bitcoin is not done with the bear market, I don't believe we are done. As long as Bitcoin is not done, gold and silver will not be done. When Bitcoin, and if Bitcoin, of course, that's an if Bitcoin drops below $60,000 and you start to see a bit of a range form, because to bottom you need time. It's not like tops. To form lows you need time. You need time. You need time, or the major low would be this one. You need time. You need time. You need time to form lows. So if you drop and you start to form a bit of a range of Bitcoin that looks like a bottom, this is when I would start to say, okay, we have very high chances of gold topping out, but also silver. Until now, silver still has a wave 4 and then a wave 5 higher. Target ideally would remain around $112. That will be a very important area if we do reach it. Okay. And then, yeah, so Bitcoin bottoms out, silver and gold tops out. In the meantime, my high time frame expectations: gold up, silver up, Bitcoin down. If you disagree with this, you can just wait and see what happens. But personally, I am pretty confident in this read of the market. Of course, I could be wrong. I'm just a normal guy online, but I have very high confidence on this. Very high confidence in this. Do you think these high precious metal prices are a big macroeconomic warning? Oh man. Look, in terms of economy, bro, it has been broken since 2008. So I don't really look at the economy anymore, because I used to do this. I used to look at the economy, and what this turned me into was a perma bear. I used to always expect lower prices. Of course, when we had a bear market, it was great, especially on Bitcoin. It was great because I used to short and make a lot of money. But when you had bull markets, which bull markets last much longer than bear markets, I used to get wrecked. And that's why I don't look at the economy anymore, because I just believe that it actually doesn't make any difference. The charts are 10 times more important than the economy. Okay, at least on Bitcoin. If you disagree with me, all I'm gonna say is that we called the short at the all-time high. You can go back on YouTube. We called the short. We called the short at 116. I was extremely bearish inside of this range, if you guys remember. And we called many more shorts at 1.7, at 105. We told you to now, I didn't call for a bottom explicitly, but I did say that I only want to look for long positions inside of this range, as we had seen a daily imbalance on $74,000. This marked a bottom. So look, the charts are just overpowered. That's my opinion. The charts can help you predict the news. That's all I'm gonna say. What happened in 2008? Well, you had the great financial crisis, the GFC. I think since then the economy has just been broken. It's just money printing, inflation. Banks are pretty much a Ponzi scheme. Nothing works anymore. It's just money printing. So I don't think the economy is very efficient. That's just my opinion. And that's why I just don't look at it anymore, because I told you I used to do super deep dives into the economy. I used to love it. I mean, I still love it, but I just don't give it any importance to the charts, because it doesn't freaking matter. If people want to buy stocks, stocks will keep on going up, even if it doesn't make any sense. Nvidia is a very good example of this. I mean, is it a good stock? Of course. I personally used to love this stock. That was my favorite stock in the stock market. But right now, I don't like the stock anymore. It's just so overextended. All you have to do is buy Nvidia and it will keep on going up. So just doesn't make sense. Just doesn't make sense. That's why personally I like value plays, right? We had a lot of value plays, including AMD. That was a beautiful buy around that support that offered a massive bounce. I like value plays, and that's why Nvidia and every other big stock, I just don't like it anymore. It's just too overextended. Nothing makes sense. And yeah, not gonna waste too much time on this. Hey Habib, could you go over one of your last trades and go in detail on what you saw in the terms of imbalance and volume, and what tools on trading you use for volume profiles? I don't use volume profiles. I mean, I do use them, but not a lot, It's just if I see conference, so I will do this. If I see conference on my level, I will really like it, but if I don't see conference, I don't really care. I guess you've seen that about me a lot. I mean, all of these levels, including $90,200, you guys know we had this level, which offered massive resistance. This has nothing to do with volume profiles. It's all imbalances. And imbalances, I've said it before, I will say it again, imbalances dictate the market. And that's why I do believe, look, I've looked at a lot of other people on Twitter and YouTube, but no one has as accurate levels as we do. Every single level that we share, usually we have reactions on them. That's because imbalances are the true representation of liquidity. You can go right now over Twitter, and I don't think that one person had this level at $91,800. What was the logic behind this level? We had the 1 hour imbalance that was partially filled, but much more importantly, look what happened. We had this low, and price was in the process of breaking below this low. And what do you see? You see 3 30-minute imbalances. So of course, volume, it will be a mix of longs and shorts. However, when you see price moving down into a low, most of the people will be looking for short positions. So guess what you have on this candle? You have people that open shorts for the breakdown. You did liquidate some of them. However, personally, you guys know that I look at the open of candles. So I take this because you have 3 imbalances. A lot of people shorted the breakdown. This is a very big pool of liquidity. You take the open of this candle, you go forward in time, and guess what happened? You moved up into it to the dollar and you got a reversal to the downside. If you go and look at every single person on Twitter, I saw a lot of people saying we have on the heat map, we have liquidity inside of this range at 92,500. Bro, the liquidity map doesn't really matter. I have to be honest with you. The liquidity map isn't very important. I forgot where it was, but we had a lot of liquidity at some point and I traded against it because I mean, I have Twitter and I track people. I forgot which trade it was. I wish I could remember, but we pretty much front on them and I took the trade in the opposite direction because it was a level that we shared and we made a lot of money. I forgot which trade it was. But yeah, oh yeah, I do remember now. I do remember. It was this support. If you guys don't believe me, go back over to YouTube and look what we said down there. We had a support, which was, I believe it was a daily imbalance. What was that? Yeah, you can see. Let me zoom in. You had a daily imbalance, and we had a big wick on the lower time frames, which I didn't like. This is a very important trade, guys. If you guys want to improve your trading, I promise you, please pay attention. So we had this wick, and pretty much what I did, I took the midpoint, which was around this. So pretty much, I think I took the low of this candle, which was around the midpoint. I extended it, and guess what? We had a support down there that offered a massive reversal to the upside and a new all-time high. Now at this point, okay, now I will say I was in a short from up there and I didn't long this low, but I did long the reclaim of this I forgot which level it was, but I did long right there at $111,000. And what I said inside of YouTube is that if we break these lows, that would be a massive sign of weakness. So it's either we bounce from here or we go much lower. However, most people, and by most people, I literally mean 99% of Twitter, what they were saying is that on the liquidity map, we have so much liquidity down there. What makes sense, or what made sense to them, is that we would get then a reversal to the upside. But guess what happened? The liquidity map did not matter. We filled the imbalance. We hit my support. And I told you guys that we could not break these lows if we want to go higher. We held the support and we went higher in the charts. So that's why when people tell me how many tools do you look at, I don't look at anything else than imbalances. If you understand structure, psychology, and imbalances, you can predict a lot of moves in the market. Okay, I will not go back in time and outline a lot of the levels that we predicted, but this one is a beautiful example. Every person on Twitter, I'm not joking, every person on Twitter was talking about the liquidity heat map and all of the liquidations that we had down there. The liquidity heat map doesn't freaking matter. Okay, you can take that for what it is. I'm telling you, that's a fact. The liquidity heat map doesn't matter. But look, what do I know? What do I know? Now, for the last trade, just to answer your question, it was very simple. I explained to you why this level was very important, right? On the 30 minutes especially, we had a big pool of liquidity, so we just moved into it. And here we basically had two main things to look at. One was the day. It was Friday, and you guys know on Fridays, if you study every single day of the week, Fridays usually offer dumps to the downside and not pumps. So when I saw a big pump, I was not even on the charts. I was on my phone. I put an alert. I got the alert. I opened my phone. I saw this massive pump to the upside. It was a Friday. It It was an important level. I just took my short position as soon as I saw a wick. It was that simple. So you have a strong level, you have the timing, which is Friday, you have a massive pump into it. So the chances were that it's just a trap before going into the weekend, dumping it back down in order to also set up the weekend pump that we see over 80% of the weekends, okay, weekend pumps. So that's why I took this short position. It's very simple. Uh, I don't I don't want to waste any more time talking about these things, but if you have more questions, of course, go for it. That was just for the last trade. We can talk about the other ones, but this one was a bad trade, so I don't know if I want to talk about it because that was just a mistake on my part. And the other one that was a decent short, which was this one, I already explained it inside of YouTube. So I think that this one is a very good example of what I usually look at. You have a level, you have the timing, and you have the reaction. You have an extremely strong move up on Friday. Chances are it's a trap. How long can they keep the music playing? You mean the banks? Well, as long as they want to, because unfortunately, or maybe fortunately now, it is very easy to transact. People just work on fiat. You know, if you try to go anywhere in a coffee shop and try to pay in Bitcoin, for example, 90% of coffee shops don't take Bitcoin now. Some of them do, but it's just very easy to pull out cash, so cash or your card, and just pay coffee or food or whatever. That's just how the world operates. So they can keep the game going as long as they want to because it's just ingrained in people's behavior. So when you have such a strong behavior, a strong habit in people, it's very hard to change it. Very hard to change it. That's why personally I don't believe that Bitcoin will be this kind of money where it will be normal transactions, because I don't think that this is what Bitcoin was designed for. The fees are too high, it's slow, it's getting very expensive, so it just doesn't make sense to expect Bitcoin to be this form of money. But still, it has a very important place in the financial system, and I think that history has shown that Bitcoin is proving itself to be a very important asset in a different sense that some people believe, but then in a very important sense. I hope I'm not boring you guys, okay? But I think we've talked about a couple of important things, which were the timing, okay? Apart from the setups for this week, we talked about timing. So you have to study every single day of the week. I have told you guys before, Mondays and sometimes Tuesdays, Asian sessions are very important to look for pivots. This has happened every single week. This high, this high, this high, this low, this high, this high. Well, just a lot of freaking pivots have happened on Monday and Tuesday. And we have also talked about the liquidity heat map, which I know a lot of people get tricked into following a lot. I personally don't think that they're very important. I have showed you this through my analysis, especially a very important call, which was right there, where a lot of people were expecting the break of these lows because you had the liquidity below this on the heat map. Personally, I didn't expect it. You had the daily imbalance, a consolidation on support. Yeah. I don't want to waste too much of your guys' time. So if you have any more questions, send them in the live chat. But right now, we will do a recap on Bitcoin. Personally, what I'm looking for this week will be a drop into Monday, sorry. So a Monday low, ideally around 88.7. If we get a drop somewhere, so if we get a drop today and bottom out somewhere after the New York session, so late in the day, and we get a good reaction, I do believe that this could offer a very good long position for a reversal to the upside, a break back above these highs, and probably our last chance to open a very important short position on Bitcoin for a massive reversal lower. On the other hand, if we do indeed drop and we lose 88.7, then this would be a massive sign of weakness, and personally at least I would expect a break back below $86,300. So simple enough, this is my plan. I am in a short position from $91,800. My stop loss is at entry, so I don't really care what happens right now. Of course, I would love for price to drop because it's just profits. So, but I have my stop loss at entry. I would love for price to drop. I have not taken take profit one. And if we break back above these highs tomorrow, then I will just have to analyze a new plan. And with that said, I think I've talked enough. It's been 55 minutes right now, so a long live stream. Very good questions today. So thank you guys for the questions. Again, we've talked about very important things. But I think right now we can end it here. So, very interesting stream. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jean-Pierre. Thank you, Jean-Pierre. I really appreciate the kind words. So with that said, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you for asking questions. Thank you. If you could, of course, leave a like on the live stream, that would help a lot. Thank you for everything, basically. And from my side, I will try to keep my analysis as accurate as possible for as long as possible. Until then, I will see you tomorrow morning. So with that said, once again, thank you everyone. If you could leave a like on the stream. And once again, I'm done here. I will see you all tomorrow morning inside the Discord. Until then, enjoy your evening and the rest of the weekend. And see you tomorrow. And I'm so bad at ending these freaking lives. Goodbye, guys.